on this, let's go to Caroline Sunshine now with an all-time great name. She's a Trump campaign deputy communications director and joins us on the phone. Caroline, great to have you back with us.
How are you?
I'm doing so well, and I mean it about your name. The Biden campaign must have like Hannah Hailstorm working for them or something. I love that you are Sunshine, so that's the best.
Well, thank you very much.
Hey, let's talk about what I just played. Karine Jean-Pierre says she doesn't want to dignify questions about whether or not they're juicing up Biden with an answer. But what do you think? Should she answer that question?
Well, let me tell you, that's PR speak for I don't want to answer the question. I don't remember the last question that Karine Jean-Pierre actually answered. The last I remember hearing from her, she was ranting to the American public about how they shouldn't believe their own lying eyes because all of these videos of Joe Biden falling downstairs and falling off his bike and wandering around the G7 and having to be babysat on stage, all of that was just cheap fakes. They were cheap fakes that were altered by AI. Every time Karine Jean-Pierre steps up to the podium or answers a question, I'm really reminded why the Biden White House would really prefer she doesn't. But speaking of people who are bad at their jobs, Joe Biden's going to be on that debate stage this evening with President Trump. President Trump is looking forward to debating because he has a great record, and President Trump's looking forward tonight to being there to fight on behalf of the American people and to give them answers to the questions that are troubling them. And there's a lot to work with. President Trump's going to be on that stage tonight fighting for Rachel Morin and her 5 children who she left behind. She's going to be up there fighting for Laken Riley, for Jocelyn Nungare, for the gentleman our campaign met in Pennsylvania this past weekend who said, "Sir, I'm voting for you because I had to come out of retirement because I can't afford my bills and I can't afford my medication." That's who President Trump is up there fighting for tonight. We're looking forward to a debate and seeing if Joe Biden can not only stand for 90 minutes, but can he also stand by his record for 90 minutes is the real test for Joe Biden, drugs or no drugs.
Caroline, I'm glad you brought up Jocelyn Nungare in particular. Her funeral is going on as we speak right now. That's the 12-year-old girl who was just brutalized, raped, and murdered in Texas by what the authorities say were 2 illegal immigrants, now in custody. But the Biden administration took them into custody, released them into the public, and as a result, this horror has been inflicted on that family and on that girl. I did wonder, will her name come up tonight? If the moderators don't bring it up, if Joe Biden himself doesn't bring it up, which I doubt he will, should we expect President Trump to bring it up?
Well, I won't get ahead of President Trump, because he speaks his mind and speaks his heart. But I will say, if there's one person on that stage who has said the names of not only Jocelyn Nungare, but also Laken Riley and Rachel Morin, it's President Trump. Not only has he said their names, he has mourned with their families. President Trump, there were a lot of questions this week about how are the candidates preparing for the debate stage. And, Joe Biden was cloistered away, retreating at Camp David, which is really a metaphor not only for his debate preparation, but also for his presidency. He just retreats from the realities that he creates for the American people that they don't get to retreat from. Rachel Morin didn't get to retreat. Laken Riley didn't get to retreat. Jocelyn Nungare's mother doesn't get to retreat today from her daughter's funeral. President Trump spoke with Rachel Morin's mother this past week, and I was genuinely touched to hear that her mother, Patty Morin, said, "You know what, President Trump's words brought me compassion." And it goes beyond saying their names. I know President Trump to be a man of deep compassion. I also know him to be a man of action. What the American people want, and what these families want who are grieving the loss of their innocent loved ones because of Joe Biden's open border policies, is they want an end to the carnage. And President Trump has pledged that on day one, he is going to launch the largest criminal deportation in our country's history. He's going to work with our terrific men and women of law enforcement to do it, because one of these victims is one too many, and we have to stop the carnage that's happening to our women and our children because of the violent criminals Joe Biden has allowed into our country. Not only has he allowed them in, he clearly wants them to stay. He just signed 2 amnesties in the last month.
Caroline Sunshine, what do you expect out of CNN's handling of this debate this evening? Obviously, President Trump has indicated that he took this debate because he wanted the opportunity to go against Joe, and in his view, he was calling their bluff that he wouldn't accept the debate under these circumstances. He has. He's headed to Atlanta right now. And one thing we've seen, for instance, on CNN's website, just by way of example, since the debate was announced, they have fact-checked, in their words, President Trump 11 times. They have done 0 fact checks of Joe Biden since that same time. What do you expect from CNN tonight?
Well, if the bar is low for Joe Biden, it's even lower for CNN. You know, President Trump said he would debate anytime, any place, anywhere, and unfortunately that means he's got to show up to fake news CNN. Look, actually it's CNN who's the real winner tonight because the only time they get ratings is when President Trump is on their network. I mean, I don't even know who watches CNN anymore because nobody trusts them. They have not been the most trusted name in news for a while now, and these moderators that we have tonight, I don't even know if I can call them moderators because they're not moderate and they're not going to do a lot of moderating. I don't think anybody expects Jake Tapper, with his history of anti-Trump rhetoric and comparing President Trump to Adolf Hitler, to ask fair questions. I don't know if I've ever seen Jake Tapper ask a fair question in his entire journalistic career, if you can call it that. I certainly don't expect Dana Bash, with her husband, who was one of the 51 U.S. intelligence officials who told the American people, no, that laptop from hell, it's Russian disinformation, it's not real, who basically engaged in blatant election interference. I don't expect Dana Bash, that same Dana Bash, to ask fair questions about pressing Joe Biden on the facts that he was part of the lying apparatus that colluded together to lie to the American people that this laptop from hell was Russian disinformation, which we now know isn't true. In fact, it was entered in the big guy's son, Hunter Biden's trial, and I doubt CNN is going to make Joe Biden answer for that. But here is the silver lining for the American people. This type of environment that is so biased is exactly where President Trump is at his best. Because when he's in a hostile, biased environment like this, which really, let's be honest, he has been his entire candidacy and presidency ever since he came down the escalator in 2015, this is where he really shines on behalf of the American people. The American people are so fed up with being lied to by the mainstream media about everything from Hunter Biden's laptop to the origins of COVID-19, taking President Trump's words like bloodbath out of context. I mean, the American media has no trust and credibility with the American people. In fact, it's actually President Trump that the American people trust. And I know that they are looking forward to having somebody on that debate stage tonight represent their interests, give it right back, punch back. President Trump is a fighter. He's going to fight for the American people and for the truth on their behalf tonight.
Yeah, in fact, actually, as you say that, I think President Trump has the highest approval ratings of anyone in that room. The media has very low approval in America. Right. Joe Biden, abysmal approval. President Trump, it turns out, has the highest approval of the group.
That's right, because he actually, well, one, because President Trump tells the truth, and two, because he's trusted on the issues that are most important to the American people. This election is about inflation, it's about the economy, it's about immigration. These are the issues that voters trust President Trump the most on. For example, we saw a poll last week saying 62% of Americans and a majority of Hispanics, I might add, want mass amnesty or want mass deportations instead of mass amnesties for illegal immigrants. The mainstream media would tell you it's the exact opposite. Right. But these are the same people that tell you the sky isn't blue. But I'm just saying, right? The mainstream media would have you believe that, oh no, the American people somehow want millions more illegal immigrants, blah blah blah. No, that's not true. So that's why President Trump is, rightfully trusted, thank goodness, by the American people.
Yeah. Let me, I know a lot of people are wondering, definitely within our audience, what kind of President Trump is going to appear tonight? Like what his strategy ultimately is going to be. I know you said earlier in the conversation you don't want to get ahead of him here. I did see he talked to Byron York recently, and I just quoted an interview of his. And he indicated that he thought maybe he interrupted Joe Biden a little too much in their first debate a couple years back. In their second debate, he felt like he was at a better pace. Can you give us any sense of sort of his spirit going into this tonight, and if he has any sort of strategy specifically in mind?
Yes, well, President Trump has been hydrating today with a steady diet of liberal tears. He is ready to go. Look, President Trump, one of the many things I love about him is he engages so directly with the American people. So if you remember just this past week in front of a crowd in Philadelphia, he actually asked the American people directly, what do you think? You think I should be aggressive? You think I should be nice? So I won't get ahead of President Trump because he is his own man, and he's going to feel the room, and he's going to do what is best on behalf of the American people. He's going to speak the truth when he has to speak it, which I imagine is going to be quite often on that stage. But President Trump is going to speak the truth about his record, and that's the other point I would bring up that is really the crux of this debate and what it all hinges on, which is that this election and this debate are the first time in a century that the American people can compare two former sitting U.S. presidents and their records back to back. Those records speak for themselves, right? Under President Trump, we had the most secure border in U.S. history. We had an economy where the American dream was alive and well. Inflation was at 1.9%. Gas was $1.69 a gallon. We had peace deals being signed in the Middle East. We were respected on the world stage. Our allies were paying our fair share. Under Joe Biden, Biden, worst border crisis in U.S. history, an economy that makes Jimmy Carter's look like a lightweight, a war in the Middle East and Europe with no end in sight. Everything is on fire, and President Trump is going to be he's going to be the one that provides the solutions to all of the problems that Joe Biden has caused.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you about something else, the logistics for tonight. President Trump has indicated that his running mate pick is going to be in attendance this evening, which of course leaves the rest of us wondering who's going to be in attendance. Can you give us a sense of the guest list this evening? Who will be there in the vicinity of the studio?
Well, since we're just among friends, President Trump's fortunate to have many great American patriots with him tonight. I will pull the old trick and say you're going to have to tune in and watch. But I will say this: there's much speculation around who President Trump is going to select as his vice president. Look, the only person who knows who Donald Trump is going to select for vice president is Donald J. Trump himself. But I will tell you, whoever he selects, Kamala Harris is going to have her hands full on her own debate stage later this summer, and I don't think she's going to be able to cackle her way out of that one.
Sure. Yeah, and they haven't actually agreed to that debate, have they? I know that your campaign, President Trump, has suggested doing it at a historically black college in Virginia, but we haven't actually had any confirmation of that, have we?
I guess we're going to find out if they've had enough tonight. We're going to find out if they can take the heat tonight.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
one debate might be enough for these lightweights.
That'll be fascinating. All right. So we don't know who's in attendance, and then finally, just you don't have to tell me who's there because you won't. But will the people who are with President Trump be in a green room or somewhere nearby? I'm trying to figure out the logistics here because he's bringing people with him, but we're being told over and over that only the moderators, the candidates, and then I would presume some of the production staff and maybe even Secret Service will be in the studio. Where will everyone else be who's in attendance there?
Yeah, President Trump has an excellent team behind him. Some of our team will be with him in Atlanta. They will be tuning in just like the American people. And, beyond that, I don't have much to share just for the sake of our team and their protocols and Secret Service and whatnot. But President Trump has an excellent team of highly intelligent, great American patriots who love this country with him there tonight. And our team is it's an honor. It's our team's honor, actually, to be a part of supporting President Trump with this debate, because we know that President Trump represents the will of the American people, and it is our honor to do our part to bring that to the debate stage tonight on their behalf.
All right. Caroline Sunshine, Trump Campaign Deputy Communications Director. Nice to talk to you today, Caroline. Thank you very much.